Raising your standards should be the standard. It's the only way to make change you need. I'm Dom Jackson of Day-by-Day Media, and this is the 7-Day Scoop Show, my weekly show where I document my career and decisions that I'm making. Yet adventures trying to pursue, where I use my story and my adventures to help motivate you. And raising your standards and raising the bar is such a big thing for making change and making growth. Right now I'm in the process of going to get my van with Car Keys Express. Work outside a lot of the time, me being out here in St. Louis. With the overall growth of things that are happening actually like career-wise, there's also a lot of time that I end up just like realizing little things throughout the day. For instance, this week was one of the colder weeks out here. The low as 9 when I was actively outside working. Car keys, key fobs, fresh 9 degrees. Yes, sir. Marcos. Yes, sir. St. Louis dogs.
Taking some souls.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How's it going, sir? That's cold as fuck, dog. Like, 9 is so cold. I felt like when you're in like a humidity type place, like you feel like you're walking in like almost like a misty swamp. But when you're walking in like 9 and like the single digits, it's like you're walking in like a sheet of ice almost. Like I really felt like I was walking and there was like a thin layer of like glass walking around. And the reason I said that was because early in the year, you know, December, 32 degrees was very cold for me. I was like freezing my balls off. 32 degrees was cold as fuck. But then being in 9 and then having go to like 30 later on in the week, I was like, holy shit, this is a whole different standard of where my mind and mentally took everything. So that was like one of the big shifts of just like how much my tolerance changed over what my actual standard of what cold or what hard was, because like my standards changed. One of the things I like talking about a lot is like the storm. A couple videos back, but talk about dealing with the storm. So basically, like if a hurricane is coming through, if you're running through the hurricane into like the eye of the storm, you just kind of go through all the chaos. And that's what a lot of stuff is in life, just like all the chaos around you going around over and over again. So that process of raising your standards and becoming that next version of what you want to become is going to be that like, hey, I don't tolerate this anymore. And you have to deal with all the new things that happen with that change of like where you are. So you'll basically be like a tree planted with the storm going around, and then all the weakest trees get cut out during the storm, but the strongest ones stay there, hold their ground, and they grow. And that's like one of the biggest things that like, as far as mentality wise, that shift. There's a lot of other things that I learned. I was watching a podcast with Mr. Beast that came out this week, and I'll link it below. But in this clip,
You know, something I always tell myself is how you feel right now is why no one else does what you want to do or does what you do. And if you push through this, that's just even, you know, more of a reason why no one will ever be who you are. And so it's like, I think being able to push through unhappiness and do things you don't want to do consistently year after year over the course of a decade is like the ultimate advantage. Like
in that process of raising your standards, you're going to have a lot of moments when you're like, oh, you're making a new path you haven't done before. And, you know, the reason that your path is so new and so original is because no one else is going to copy it if you're going through that part of the hardness of the storm of raising your standards, hitting that next level. So part of my pitch practicing, I decided to invest more time into actually my craft. I started doing that this week. One of my favorite ways to work on my pitch is to practice on the treadmill, and I've been doing that. Hey there, half off car keys this week. What kind of car do you drive? Can I see your key really quick? What happened to your spare? Take care of this one. When you lose it, we can't help you. In that new process of working on my pitch on the treadmill, I realized how much slower it was, and it felt like I was like trying to like make it up as I was going along, as opposed to having it all set in stone, as simple as saying my name. And that was part of the reason why my confidence wasn't as good in the field. My numbers went down because when I was in peak performance, it was like all one thing coming down in one motion, as opposed to me trying to think of what to say while I'm doing it. So that was a good realization of seeing the difference between like when I'm at A1 confidence with my pitch versus where I was when I'm like kind of in that gray spot, and why doing the repetition is practicing on my own is so important for myself and for my team. So that new part of like raising your standards, like what new things do I have to add into my daily life to change the standard of how I do normally. So like, how would I have that new standard set up? Another thing I found super useful, there's a lot of times when I'm at home where like I get done work or I get done doing something, and like I have like a little lapse of time where I'm like, should I relax? Should I do this? Should I do that? What should I do next? And now I have like a whole daily checklist of like things I could be doing in the order of operations. So like I get home, it's like, all right, cool. Stuff set up for tomorrow. Yeah, food set up, this set up, you know, everything washed, everything clean, everything charged up. And now I have like a checklist to go through when I get home, like boom, 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 boom. And I feel like for an everyday person, it may not be like necessary, but for someone like me who's always trying to like get to the next level of themselves, I need to have more of a system for when I don't know what to do, so I'm not like caught in a lapse. Because one of like the best things that I learned about being in this business in general was that there's never really any downtime, more or less. And it's like, all right, cool. If this is done, then we're fixing this. Then we're setting up this. Then we're doing this. Then we're doing this. Then we're talking to people. So there's always something to do. You know what to do next without having to think about it. When I get home, it's kind of like, oh, what should I do right now? But now, like having a system for myself for what I do at home, I think is super impactful. My new philosophy is that if it's not on your agenda, then it's on somebody else's. And you got to figure out which the real one is. We had some new people also come in this week, some new hires. So we had a chance to train them and see what's up. And I'm definitely better than I was last time with training. You know, some people come with their own set of skill sets. So what I'm doing now, when somebody comes in, I'll give them like a letter, at least in my head, of where they came in skill set wise currently. You might come in with an F. You might come in with a B. You might be transformed for someone else in our business and you learn our version of the business, and you might be like A minus. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of different ways where people can be in it. But now at least I have an idea where you're starting at, so I know how to change you. And one thing that I'm really working on now is making sure I identify what something needs to stop automatically and have them stop it right there. Like, hey, don't do that again. Hey, do it like this. Hey, don't do that again. Hey, do it like this. And also reinforcing and unreinforcing the things that need to change. So it's a constant feedback loop. Because I was watching this video and they were talking about how important it is to give like feedback when it happens. So people change faster, so it's better for the training. So just to go through the whole process of raising your standards, whether how you train people, how you treat yourself, whether the temperature you're dealing with right now, or having some kind of system to keep yourself in place when you don't know what to do, so you can consistently line up, be that person you want to be. But as always, take it one step at a time. We'll get there day by day.